line them up. We're going to do a pill draw for the first 5-lap match race to try to determine the starting positions inside and outside. And I'll tell you, these guys take this seriously. You know, there's a lot of pride here, and of course it is the Battle of the Beers with the Coors driver Bill Elliott in the car number 9 and the Miller Genuine Draft in 5. Now to Jerry Knuckles for the pill draw to determine the starting positions for the first 5-lapper.
Okay, we have in this bottle here, Bill, I should say, 4 pills, an 8, a 10, a 12, and a 14. And we'd like for you to grab this bottle and roll one of them babies out of there, and then we'll do the same thing with Rusty. And the guy that gets the low pill, wait a minute, you got all 4 of them. You don't get to do that and pick the one you like. One at a time. Wait, whoops, this is tricky.
Hey, this is tough. I don't like that one. I'm going for another one.
What's that one say on it?
12.
All right, we'll go over here to Rusty now and see what he can get. And what we're going to do is the guy with the low number for this first draw here is going to start on the pole the first race, and then in the second race we're going to switch him. And then after the first 2 races, then we're going to pull him up here one more time, and Bill's got some practice at this now, so he should just be able to roll one pill out of there real well, and then we'll decide the low pill for the third and final race. Rusty, here, it's all yours. Number 8. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Rusty's going to start on the pole for the first race. What we're going to do is get them both rolling here. The flag's going to hold up the white flag. When we got 1 lap to go, we'll come off of here 2 abreast and run 5 laps. Here we go. You guys ready? Here we go.
Okay, Rusty Wallace aboard the Paul Storer-owned car that Dick Dunleavy Jr. normally drives. The number 9 car is the backup car for John Vallow. That is not the car he's running in competition tonight. Roger Wells Roger White has both cars here this evening, the 21 car and the 9 car. So the 5 car is in competition. Dunleavy will drive that, but the 9 car is not. This will be its only competition this evening. 5 laps. They'll get a white flag this time. We'll start the next time around. So again, special thanks to Jim Burke for providing the car for Bill Elliott, and also to Paul Storer for helping out here and letting Rusty Wallace in his car after Ronnie Otto's car blew that head gasket earlier this evening. 5 laps to go, the first match race. Close through turns 1 and 2. Let's hear it for the Ford fans. Elliott in that Thunderbird. Elliott still holds on that outside groove. Wallace now with a little advantage down low. The T-Bird on the outside. The Grand Prix on the inside. Elliott falls into sink now. I think he's got a little better handle on that 9 car than earlier in the race. Halfway. That last lap, 14:97, so a good lap. White flag. Wallace with a half car length advantage that time by. Now Elliott pulls ahead on the backstretch. It's Wallace on the inside. Elliott still outside. It'll be close. And let's hear it for the Pontiac fans. The Pontiac Grand Prix with Rusty Wallace, your defending Winston Cup champion, up, wins the first 5-lap match race. And seriously, folks, these guys have never seen this racetrack. and they were running just under 15 seconds. They'll switch sides for the second race. Elliott now still in that Thunderbird. He'll be down low with the Grand Prix alongside. Coming up after the match races, we'll have a brief intermission. Green flag. Elliott now pulls ahead. Wallace will look to the inside. Trying to feel it out. Rusty looks to the low groove. Elliott still leads in the Thunderbird. Let's hear the Ford fans. Now officially halfway, 2.5 laps down the backstretch. Elliott with a little push over in turn 2. Looked like Wallace was going to get alongside him. And now Elliott slips. Wallace almost underneath over in turn 2, but now he'll try the high groove. 3 laps down. White flag that time by. Wallace again looks for a way around that Thunderbird, but Bill says, no way, Hosey. And it'll be Bill Elliott. Let's hear it for the Ford Thunderbird, the Ford fans out there.
What do you think, folks? Is a pretty good show or not?
Okay, we're going to stop them. And again, we just flopped them on the inside-outside that last time. But down to Jerry Knuckles for the pill draw to determine the inside and outside starters for this, the final 5-lap race.
So tell me, how's your race car feel, Rusty?
Well, the bottom groove's a little better than the top, I think. I don't know, Bill's car was hanging on pretty good in the top, and mine's hanging on pretty good in the bottom. I guess I've just probably need about another 50 laps to get track figured out.
Well, we could probably arrange that in the feature, but I understand that's probably not a good idea, right?
No, I don't think so. Let's just go ahead and draw that pill. We'll see what happens.
All right, here we go. You pull one out of there if you can. Let's just look at the first one that comes out. There he is. He's a number?
I got a number 12.
There we go. Now we got to see if Bill is bigger or smaller than a number 12.
Again, an 8 and a 10.
Now remember, just one at a time, okay?
And a 14 in that thing.
On that side for some reason.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, how's that Chevy-powered Ford running?
Hey, it ain't gonna come out.
What'd that say?
13.
That says a 10. Here we go.
Obviously, Bill has never played pool before.
Here we go, guys. We're ready to go one more time.
However, I understand that's the big gathering place in Dawsonville is the pool hall, so you would think that he would have played pool. So Bill drew the 10, Rusty the 12, and Mr. Elliott, Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, will start on the inside in that Ford Thunderbird. On the outside will be originally from St. Louis, Rusty Wallace. We'll get a white flag, 1 lap. We're going to start the next time by. Your 2 most recent Winston Cup champions here at Columbus Motor Speedway for the Nationwide Auto Parts Superstar Shootout. Five laps to go. Green flag. Rusty Wallace with a bit of an advantage. Swapping some paint through turn 2. Here comes Elliott back on the inside. Into the back end through turn 2. And now Rusty begins to stretch it out in that Pontiac Grand Prix, but Elliott comes back in 3 and 4. Now 2.5 laps completed as Elliott tries that high groove. Again, up on the outside. The Thunderbird creeping up on the Grand Prix. What flag this time, folks? The white one. White flag, 1 lap to go. Elliott still can't make that outside groove work. But he's coming in a hurry in 3 and 4. It'll be close. But it's Rusty Wallace, your winner in car number 5, the Paul Storer owned Jesse's Hair Fashion Pontiac Grand Prix. We'll just get a word or two with them down there. These guys have to be in Daytona Beach at 8 o'clock in the morning for Winston Cup practice, and they still have to fly down there. So we'll just have a word, and then these guys are going to hit the road.
Now that their engines are turned off, let's hear one more time when they can hear you, crew. I'm probably not supposed to say this over the PA, but that was one hell of a show, guys. What do you think, Bill?
I loved it. You know, it's get my helmet on. It's one tough racetrack to run on. The problem that I have, it's so hard to see how these cars, it's a lot different than a Winston Cup cars. Plus, they don't run a mirror, and it's hard to tell where the other guy is. And, you know, you come up off the corner there, and the wall gets to you awful hurry. This car works a little better on the high side. It looks like Rusty's car works a little better on the low side.
Both cars look like they were pretty evenly matched, I think, and you guys did a heck of a job. Let's talk with Rusty here for just a second, then these guys need to get flying out of here. Your brother Kenny ran I believe, an ASA race here a year ago. Did he coach you at all on this place or not?
Well, he told me it was pretty round, and I tell you, I got to say just what Bill said, because Bill and I have ran 2 or 3 races lately, and the biggest problem I had was seeing over the hood of these cars. We're used to running Winston Cup cars sitting up in them. But this car, I can see it over real good, and I think it makes it easier for me to drive. But I knew that low side was a little better than the top, and the biggest thing I had to do was get down in front of Bill and get that bottom side. But I kept hearing him over here, and I kept feeling him a little bit behind me.
And the old, the 5 car substituting wasn't a bad choice, I assume, as good as the 52, you think?
Well, they told me it was a pretty good car. The 52 car felt very, very good to me, so naturally I wanted that car, and I didn't know much about this car, but this car turned out to be a good car, too.
Well, guys, we appreciate you helping us put on a show for the fans here this evening. One more time, folks, let's hear a big round of applause. See you guys.
For the nationwide Superstar Shootout late model feature. Special thanks again to Nationwide Auto Parts. Stop by your local store for all your automotive needs. Nationwide Auto Parts. The lineup on the pole in car 36, Randy Van Zandt, and alongside in car number 5, Dick Dunleavy Jr. Row 2 in car 55 is Bussy Blackford. In car 83, Lonnie Rush Sr. from Pickerington. Pataskala, Ohio, the next man calls home. It's Bobby Edwards. And from Miamisburg, John Ballow. Columbus is home to Terry Humphrey in car number 1. And Robbie Dean from Darbydale. Car 52, the Nationwide Auto Parts entry. It's Ron Otto Jr. And alongside in 41, Jerry Mitchell. Scott Drake from Xenia is in 91. And alongside, your fast qualifier this evening, Bill Cantley in 26. Don Whitnall drives 81. 11, Mike Stacy. Car number 15, that's John Furry. And car number 2, Pat Jones. The next car in car number 19, this guy from Centerville, Ohio, it's Carlton Smith. And from Dayton, Greater Dayton, in car 22, Tom Randolph. Larry Harris drives 47, Dan Eves in 33, Ron Priebus in 90, and Doug Blankenship in 70. The Ches Brown Oldsmobile pace car pulls off on the backstretch, and we're ready to go racing. 50 racing laps. Dunleavy in that Pontiac leads. Randy Van Zandt in 36 is second. Now Lonnie Rush works the high groove. Rush will challenge Dunleavy through 3 and 4. John Vallow is next. He'll try the high groove of Dunleavy. Vallow side by side with Dunleavy. And the new leader, John Vallow. Six laps down, it's Vallow, Dunleavy, Humphrey, Rush, and Robbie Dean. Scott Drake over in turn number 3. A week from this Sunday, we'll have twin 25-lap late model features. We did it a couple weeks ago, and the fans really enjoyed 2 25-lap late model features, plus limited sportsman action and street stock action. Larry Harris pulls into the infield. And Ron Otto Jr. slows in 52, the Nationwide Auto Parts entry. Meantime, there's a race up front. It's been a long night for the Nationwide entry, and Ron Otto off the backstretch into the infield. Tough break for Otto. Dunleavy right on the back bumper of Vallow. Terry Humphrey waiting in the wings. Complete. Vallow, Dunleavy, Humphrey, Rush, and Dean. Blankenship with a deflating right front tire. step out with a flat right front. From his 12th starting position. Cantley runs 8th. And Pat Jones with a spin over in turn 4. Jones in car number 2, Pat Jones. Dick Dunleavy Jr., Terry Humphrey, Lonnie Rush, Robbie Dean, and Bussy Blackford. 16 laps complete. Turn 2, but John recovers and maintains the lead. They'll work their way around Doug Blankenship, who was disqualified earlier. Tries Vallow in 2. Bobby Edwards pulls off the track on the front stretch. A race for the lead. Vallow's car continues to slip high in the corners. Dunleavy on the bottom. But Vallow pulls ahead on the backstretch. Terry Humphrey is third. Halfway, 25 laps down. Looks like deja vu earlier from the match race. Up to 6 now. Still side by side. go. 20 laps. Pressures Robbie Dean for that 5th spot. To 6th spot from 18th starting position. Randolph is 6th from 18th. Make that 7th. Randolph 7th. Remain 10 laps. Bill Keeley up to 5th spot. Five laps. Smith, the lap car 19. This time for John Bauer in 21. Dunleavy second in 5. Terry Humphrey Humphrey in 1 is third. Lonnie Rush Sr. in 83 is fourth. The winner of the Nationwide Auto Parts Valvoline Superstar Shootout, John Ballo. Dunleavy second. Terry Humphrey third. Lonnie Rush fourth. Good race. John Ballo picks up the Nationwide Auto Parts Valvoline Superstar Shootout. We'll get you a top 10 as soon as possible. Tell you, it really looked like deja vu earlier, a little bit earlier, as these Vallo and Dunleavy ran side by side. It was not, this is not the same car that Elliott ran earlier. However, that was the car number 5 Pontiac Grand Prix that Wallace ran, that Dunleavy was in that for that event. Dick Dunleavy Jr. second, Terry Humphrey third, Lonnie Rush was fourth, fifth went to Bill Cantley up from 12th spot, sixth was car number 11 Mike Stacy, seventh in 94 Robbie Dean. Another guy who moved up a bunch was Tom Randolph. He was up from 18th starting spot to finish 8th. Don Wetnall in 81 was 9th, and Dan Eves in car 33 was 10th. That's your top 10 in the Nationwide Auto Parts Valvoline Superstar Shootout. The Ches Round Oldsmobile Pace car, Ohio's largest Olds dealer, pacing this field around the street stock feature. See if I can't figure out the lineup here. On the pole is Herb Pennington alongside Glenn Miller Jr. Jim McCauley and Mike Hamilton make up row number 2. Followed by car number 3, row 3, in car 39, Neil Reese, and in car 08, Jerry Pauly. Terry Pertee is in car number 43, and Craig Osborne in 63. Phil Gussler is in 4, Fred Parsons in 21, Don Townsend Jr. 77, Darrell Parsons in 25, Dave Dysinger in 27, Bill Wellman in 6, Donald Parsons III in 22. Then comes Butch McAllister, Big Daddy Don Parsons, Jim Cruz, Mike Cyrus, Gary Forbes, and Neil Reese. Okay, I stand corrected. Ron Mangus is in 39, not Neil Reese. Ron Mangus in 39. Okay, we're waiting to see if all the cars, and they are all moving, so no yellow flag, no red flag, all cars moving. The Nationwide Auto Parts Valvoline Superstar Shootout for the street stocks. Give you the first several cars. Herb Pennington, 89, your leader, followed by Jim McCauley, Mike Hamilton, Ron Mangus, Terry Pertee, Fred Parsons, Craig Osborne, and Don Townsend Jr. 1 lap down, 24 to go. backstretch on a couple of different rows. They were 3 wide. McCauley, your leader. Fred Parsons is second. Mike Hamilton third. Pennington off the racetrack in car 89. Pennington is out in 89. Fred Parsons begins to pull away from McCauley, Mike Hamilton, and the rest of the guys. Fred Parsons, your leader. Mike Hamilton moves up to second. Don Townsend Jr. is third, but not for long, as Townsend now is second. Donald Parsons the third is up to third position, followed by Jim Cruz now, and back to fifth spot. Make that sixth spot is Mike Hamilton. Terry Pertee moves up to fifth. Fred Parsons with a big advantage. Jim Cruz moves inside of Townsend on the backstretch. Donald Parsons at third. Holds on to that advantage over Cruz. Fred Parsons, your leader. Donald is second. Jim Cruz third. Townsend runs fourth, and that's Terry Pertee back in fifth spot. Jim Cruz goes to the outside of Parsons. Ten laps down. 10 laps complete. Fred Parsons puts a lap on Gary Forbes in the 95 car. Now Jim Cruz is second. Donald Parsons third, and Townsend Jr. fourth. Coming up on the halfway point of this 25-lapper. And Jerry Pauley spun over in turn number 4. Jerry Pauley in 08. And a red flag for Jerry Pauley as he's unable to get that 08 back underway. Again, if we have a car stopped on the racetrack, laps completed. Fred Parsons, your leader. Jim Cruz wastes little time moving to the outside of Parsons. Jim Cruz takes over that top spot. Fred Parsons is now second. Donald Parsons third. And that's Don Townsend Jr. fourth. 10 laps to go this time. way, something I've neglected to mention tonight. Tonight's action being taped by Penstroke Video Productions. Jim Cruz, your leader. Fred Parsons is second. Donald Parsons third. Butch McAllister now closing on Don Townsend for that fourth spot. McAllister is closing. Back for that second spot between Fred Parsons and Donald Parsons. These are cousins, I believe. And Donald takes the spot. Donald Parsons the third, now up to second spot. Butch McAllister is up to fourth. Laps. Now 4 laps to go. Cruz in 9, way out front. Donald Parsons is second. Fred Parsons third. Butch McAllister now up to fourth. Don Townsend Jr. is fifth, and Big Daddy Don Parsons sixth. Flag in starter Jim Paul's hand, and he drops it for Jim Cruz. 1 lap to go. Car number 9 is your leader. Car 22 is second. Car 21 third. Butch McAllister is closing on Fred Parsons in car number 3. Cruz will be your Nationwide Auto Parts Valvoline Superstar Shootout winner in the Street Stock Division. Donald Parsons will finish second. Third is Fred Parsons. Fourth, Butch McAllister. Fifth, it appeared to be Don Townsend. And I believe sixth, unofficially, was Don Parsons Sr. So an excellent night of racing. We thank you for coming out. Don't forget we race here every Sunday evening. And we're usually out of here on Sunday. We start the races an hour earlier, normally at 7 o'clock. Gates open at 5, qualifying at 6, racing at 7. Normally we're out of here by 10:15, so there's plenty of time to get home and get the kids in bed. So come on out and see us some Sunday night. This Sunday we'll have 4 divisions of stock cars here at the Speedway. In 2 weeks we'll have just 3 divisions, but we will have that twin 25-lap late model feature. And don't forget, coming up August 5th, Ken Schrader will be in competition in the 100-lap feature event. That's Winston Cup star Ken Schrader, the driver of the Kodiak Chevy Lumina for Rick Hendrick, will be here.
I pull it back and try to get it in high gear or something. Can you get it in high gear?
I'm not sure whether forward or back. I think forward.
It'd be reverse. It would be in reverse. So third gear would be straight forward.
This one here, bring back is reverse.
Right.
Brings forward is
Right.
reverse.
Right.
And the other one,
If you look at an H pattern, low gear is here and high gear is here. So low and high would be straight forward.
You had to have it in high gear.
Right. It sounded right.
It sounded right.
Low gear.
How much slot? That's why you need. Right now you need something on the V6. You don't need all the slot.
Well, see, this motor here, it's got too much power. John doesn't like it. He said it's got too much power right off the corner and it spins wheels on him, and he don't like it.
Exactly right.
See, but we put a 540 horsepower motor in that car, and it's faster. It's just your
fighting exactly the same thing.
You just get on the gas and it's just, this thing here is just like bang.
Right. See, what you end up doing, you having to tie the car up so tight, get it off the corner, that you screw it up getting into it.
Yeah. Yeah, see that bar on top now on this car, we tried that, and you know, that makes it loose getting in because the bar is too much of an angle.
Well, how often do you get an opportunity to do this kind of thing? I mean, it's kind of an interesting format. The last two season driving champions together on one track.
Yeah, I guess it is. This brings us back to our grassroots. It really does, and this is where I cut my teeth at and where I started racing at. And so I really don't want to forget about it. There's a lot of good racing fans that watch me go through my career and watch Bill grow through his career. And basically, we're bringing the show to them right now. We're going to put a little 15-lap match race on tonight, and it ought to be real exciting for the fans.
You guys are friendly adversaries. You've been talking it up to each other about who's going to win this deal.
Yeah, we really have. You know, about what we're going to do. Basically, it's going to be the same thing. Both pedal to the metal, and whoever can win is going to win. You know, we're going to drive hard.
What about the opportunity for these people to see? I mean, you guys are the two premier drivers on the NASCAR circuit. It's a great opportunity for them, and nice of you guys to do this.
Well, I think it's a good opportunity for myself, to tell you the truth. I have never been in my life been to Columbus, Ohio, and I've never saw the track before, and here I am for the first time. It's a nice city. I like it a lot. I spent all afternoon this morning at Mack Tool Corporation touring their facilities and stuff. They're an associate sponsor on my brother's Busch Grand National car that I own. And so I kind of incorporated two things in one day. It really worked out good for me.
Obviously, in this summer, we got to ask you about the movie Days of Thunder. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I was in it. I got about a 12-minute roll, or 12-second roll in the thing, I guess. But it's a pretty good movie. It's got a lot of Hollywood in it. You know, there's a lot of Hollywood in the movie. But it does portray some of the old crew chiefs and some of the drivers, and you can see some of the actual characters being played out by Cole Trickle, who is Tom Cruise and stuff like that. So, like I say, a regular motorsports fan who goes and watches the movie, just be aware there is a little too much Hollywood in it, baby. And there is not that much bumping that goes on out there.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, you know, that's what I say about doing a lot of these sort of things. It brings you in an area you normally wouldn't get to. And a lot of these folks that's going to come out here tonight wouldn't want to get to a NASCAR race somewhere or other around the way, or might get to one a year or something like that. The problem with that is we don't get a chance to really get out and meet the fans. We're here, Rusty and I can go out and race a little bit, and go up there and sign autographs, do that sort of thing, and kind of the best of both worlds. They don't put us into the jeopardy of going out there and racing against all the other guys, take away from their show, but it just kind of adds to everything.
What about the opportunity to return to this kind of practice? Let's bring back some memories for you guys.
Well, we've been doing this the last several nights. We've been here and there and everywhere racing these different kind of cars. But you take it in stride and meet the main thing is to meet the fans and kind of get a hang of what these guys do every Friday or Saturday night. It's a lot different, but you know, this is where racing, the true grit racing starts, right?
It's also an interesting format. I mean, how often do you see the two premier drivers just one-on-one? It's kind of like a one-on-one basketball game instead of having the other 30 cars out there.
Well, it's a lot of fun. You know, Rusty and I have done several things the last couple of nights. We've had several other drivers with us doing these sort of things. And, you know, like I said, it gives the fans to see what we kind of go up against each and every week, and you know, just let Rusty and I have a little bit of fun also.
I got to ask you about the movie Days of Thunder. Of course, everybody's talking about it this summer. Have you seen it? What do you think of it?
I hadn't seen it. Hadn't had time. I've been too busy on the road.
You got any interest in seeing it?
I don't know. I have to wait to see. I don't know.
Yeah. How do you feel about just the fact that obviously it's got to help the interest in NASCAR? Not that NASCAR's hurting because you guys, you have the following already.
Well, NASCAR's done a good job within itself because we've got an awful good following, and I don't know how it portrays racing, but you know, just from the previews I've seen, we don't do that much beating and banging. NASCAR's got a pocket races like that sort of thing. But, I don't know if it can really portray it as well as it should be, but we'll wait and see.
I've got to ask you about your season. Once again, every year it shapes up as a battle that seems to come down to the last race in this thing.
Well, it does. You know, this year we've had some problems here and there and having a lot of little things go wrong, and it's just a situation that, you know, you can't get everything to go 100% right each and every race, and the problems we've had is flat tires each and every week or something like that. In Michigan another week, we cracked an oil line that ended up blowing the engine up. Just some little freak stuff that happened. You know, we'll get our season turned around, but, you know, like I said, Michigan was so good. It was so good to lead, do all that sort of thing. And we'll be back on track before the end of the year.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Hey, thanks for coming out.
How you doing? Working hard?
I'm a retired truck driver. I retire about every pit stop.